Welcome back to Veterans Forum, a program by veterans, about veterans, for veterans and their families. I'm your co-host, Bob West, with Ray Chattery and Jerry Devlin. Our goal is to provide you with important information on legislation, benefits, support, and activities for you and your family by interviewing leaders in our community. Ray is on assignment. Jerry, who do we have with us tonight?
We're very fortunate, Bob, to have with us Anthony Tony Begenwald. Tony is a very active member of the Marine Corps League, the Free State Detachment here in Bowie, and active in other veterans organizations as well. But the particular cause of his life has been a program called Marines Helping Wounded Marines. Tony is the Vice President of the National Organization and East Coast Director. And Tony and Bob Flick from our Free State have virtually devoted their lives to going over to Bethesda Naval Hospital in Walter Reed to deal with the unfortunately increasing number of wounded who are there. And it's without trespassing on Tony's time, it is a program, by Marines to help Marines, but we also welcome support from the general public, and on the screen we'll have a place where if you'd like to contribute. It's the best charity in the United States statistically. 99% of the funds collected go directly to the beneficiaries, the people involved in it. The only expenditure is by law they're required once a year to have an audit. Everything else is totally volunteer and run by Marines like Tony. And Tony's been named Veteran of the Year. He's a past Commandant of the Free State Detachment. He's been named Marine of the Year both at the local Bowie level here and in the state, the Department of Maryland level. He's done an outstanding job with this program, and we're really lucky to have him here tonight to explain this program, which really is what the Marine Corps is all about. Our philosophy is we never leave our wounded behind, and we've seized on this as this program of dealing with the wounded who come from the Middle East, usually via Ramstein in Germany, and then they're sent to Bethesda and Walter Reed, often arriving with nothing but the clothing on their back. And that's where Tony comes in the program, which he heads with such great distinction.
Welcome, Tony.
Yeah, glad to be here, guys.
Tell us how the Marines Helping Marines started.
We got started, the Marines Helping Marines program was started by the Marine Corps League in the Maryland Department of Maryland Marine Corps League back in early spring of 2003. When we felt we would have a need to have a sustaining effort at Bethesda and Walter Reed at that time, primarily from their wounded coming in from Iraq, but Afghanistan as well. By 2005, the program expanded nationwide. We expanded not only Walter Reed and Bethesda, but we also do similar activities, same thing at the Brooks Army Base in San Antonio, the Balboa Medical Facility Center in Palo Alto, California, and the two Wounded Warrior regiments at Camp Lejeune and Camp Pendleton. By 2007, we obtained our fully tax-deductible 501c3 status and established at that time our own website, MarinesHelpingMarines.org, where you can obtain more information and points of contacts for the program. Also provide a way that you can make donations to the program by credit card, and also to provide corporations a way of obtaining a copy of the IRS's 501c3 notification letter to us. They need that so that they can legitimately make donations.
So this program started right here in Maryland?
Yes, it did. And at the time, each chaplain in each of the early detachment was designated the detachment's representative to the program. Ron Short, who is still the president of the foundation, was the one that started the program.
Well, that's amazing. We have this program actually started here in Maryland and not too long ago.
Yes.
So Now that it's up and running, what specifically do you do as far as the Marines Helping Marines program?
Well, there's, as Jerry mentioned, Bob Flick and I primarily, and other members of Marine Corps League detachments throughout the state, make weekly visits to Bethesda and Walter Reed to provide extensive support to the wounded Marines and the FMF corpsmen who are based with our Marines when in combat, to see what we can do to make their life a little more easier during their recovery phase, and their families. We provide material support, financial support, and trips away from the hospital, such as social dinners and things of that nature, sporting events, baseball, basketball, football games as well. The Marine Corps League, we donate 60 games, four tickets for 60 of the Baltimore Oriole games every year, and I personally have taken several Marines, about 10 Marines each time, up to bass fishing contest up in New Jersey, and we've taken them fishing on the Chesapeake Bay. Gets them away from the hospital, gets them away from the change of pace for them from the doldrums of sitting around the hospital all the time.
How do you identify the specific Marines that you're going to be helping?
Well, when we arrive at the hospital, we check in with there is a designated liaison office events coordinator. Sergeant Joseph Bradley is his name right now. We check in with him, and we'll get a printout of what Marines are upstairs on the 5th floor surgical ward at that time. The list will have also individuals that are on the 7th floor, which is the PTSD area, where as a rule, I have never been up there because it's a sign-in, sign-out operation, and with the guys with PTSD, you don't want to say the wrong thing to set them off. And then also, quite a few of the guys when they're first coming in, they'll be in the ICU unit. And like you and I wouldn't want to have visitors if I was in ICU in that critical condition. So we don't see those guys. But we do have a listing. Then we'll go up to the 5th floor and visit the guys and their families, if their families are available. Sometimes just a visit is all they need, and talk to guys. And they like having the visitors come in, especially the Marines like we do.
Jerry, you were the commandant of the Marine Corps League here in Maryland.
And locally.
And locally, and pretty involved in this aspect of the program.
But not nearly so much as Tony and Bob Flick. And we do also, Tony does deal with other members of the service who are there. It's not exclusive, even though it's run by Marines. We don't make any distinction.
Oh, no.
So, for example, Ray Chattery is the commander of the DAV, and they've been very generous in making contributions to Marines Helping Marines. So it's not just and you might mention, Tony, how the need has increased and the numbers have increased spectacularly. It's
yes.
terrible, that's
Yeah, of course, when Iraq first hit back in 03, 04, there was quite a few guys, 40, 50, 60 guys in the hospital floor. But as we progressed in Iraq, the numbers really dropped down. In the summer of 2010, early summer, there was 2 or 3 guys in the hospital at Bethesda. And we thought, eventually they're going to put us out of business, which is what we want to do. We want to get out of that business. And but unfortunately, 3 weeks ago, the number was in the 30s. It had progressed. It jumped up rather drastically when we put the the major drive on in Afghanistan, and they have been averaging up to 30 guys, 35 guys, pretty much steady for the last 4 months, 3-4 months, and we do a lot of things for them. Like I said, we'll provide them with material items such as toiletry items. You may sound strange, but you know the handheld dental floss things. We provide those types. Remember, some of those guys only have one hand, you know, so they have to use. They can't use a regular dental floss. Electric shavers and hair trimmers. That's a very big item because once the Marine wounded guy has used a shaver or a trimmer, he must be given those items. They cannot be used on a second Marine or corpsman because of the potential spreading of infections. So that's a big item that we have to provide over there to them.
And you were able to get quite a few shavers not so long ago.
Well, they were head trimmers.
Okay.
the trimmers I got. There was a great company it was almost a year ago. It would be a year ago in March that this Fuller company up in New York made a donation of 474 hair trimmers to us. That's a value of over $40,000 that they donated. The hair trimmers, the shavers, we haven't found that source yet, but we've got a lot in. We've probably provided, with all the ones that have been sent in and the ones we purchased, probably about 150. But they're on a continuing, ongoing basis because the guys turn over and take that stuff with them. Another item we need to provide, we have provided to them quite a bit, is travel bags. We had roller, large size travel bags on wheels with a Eagle Globe and Anchor. But that got to be a little expensive at $60 a piece. We had to find a new source. And I found a new source up in New York. Instead of travel bags, large size 25 by 42 duffel bags, black duffel bags, and they work just as good. All they need is something to transport their goods in when they move from the hospital to their next facility, or when they come in to Andrews Air Force Base and are transferred to another facility and they need the bags over there. And these bags only cost me $15 each, so I get 4 of those for one of every other one. But we provided 120 of them so far, and I was surprised when they called me, said, "Hey, Tony, we need more travel bags." I said, "I just gave you some 2 weeks ago." He said, "Yes, I know that," or 3 weeks ago. But they go through them quite rapidly.
Mm-hmm. It's a remarkable program which started almost by accident. Mike Bloom, who's now the National Director of the Marine Corps League, was Commandant of the Marine Corps League in Maryland, and someone called him about his son in Florida was at Bethesda. Could somebody go out and see him? And out of that one visit, that's when the whole program got it developed. And what it is now, there's a bit of contribution fatigue set in. Detachments and individual Marines, of course, and again, Marines, we use the term, means anybody who ever served there, because you never become an ex-Marine. They've just been given so generously for so long, they're kind of tapped out. So we make now more appeals now to the general public, and anybody here in Bowie who'd like to help. I always thought my favorite contribution was Tony was, at the time when this program started, the chaplain for Free State Detachment. And somebody sent in, and they somehow thought that Tony was ordained. They sent a very generous contribution and said, "I'm also enclosing Reverend Begenwald $25 for your own personal ministry."
Yeah, I held that check up and said, $25, that's about 5 pictures.
Yeah.
But it went to the Marines Help Marines Fund.
But Tony minimizes his own role, which is gigantic. I mean, it's been there's just no ending to the appreciation that we active Marine veterans have for his efforts, and Ron Shorts and the others who've just carried this thing on their back. But they do need help.
Mm-hmm. Well, like Jerry said, that it takes a lot of money, and unfortunately, our national budget, according to the president, is down to $6,000. That won't even cover the costs of my Oriole baseball tickets. Right now, they're being paid for at my own personal account until we get some funds in to get reimbursed for it. But unlike the other charities, the Wounded Warrior Funds, the Purple Heart, and Fisher House, we don't go on TV